From Crew Stadium, historic Crew Stadium, the championship game for Ohio Division I boys lacrosse. It's been quite a long time waiting. There were 2 weather delays earlier today, but here we are. Greg squared, Greg Franke and Greg Bice, of course, longtime outstanding player for Ohio State and the Ohio Machine. Exciting matchup here, 2 rivals. They played a great game earlier in the year, and it was St. Xavier winning a real battle against Upper Arlington. If that had been a state championship, it would have been a memorable one forever. They won 8-7 in overtime, and a relatively easier win for Dublin-Jerome to get here. How does that maybe affect the teams entering this game?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it affects the game that much. You're here, right? So throw out the past couple games, but you said it. Jerome has been on a tear this playoff season, and then you take a look at St. X. They had to gut out 2 wins, one against Moeller, their crosstown rival, and then you mentioned the UA game, the 1-goal overtime victory there last matchup to get them here. And there's a contrast, so much contrast when you look at these 2 teams. You look at Jerome. If you've never seen Dublin-Jerome play, you are in for a real treat. They systematically play a style that I've never seen another high school, another college, anybody play. They keep their poles on offense. They don't sub. It's an old school throwback, but their poles will play offense, defense. I mean, it's fun to watch. They're up and down. And then you look at St. X. They're a little bit younger, so Jerome is a senior-laden team. Younger, their sophomore class is stacked for St. X. And they will play, I don't even want to say a slower style. It's just not what the Jerome speed and the way that they play.
Typically, if you're coming in a game like this, you like the team with experience over a team that is very largely composed of sophomores, but those sophomores played such a huge role in such a critical game against Upper Arlington. 7 of the 8 goals were scored by sophomores, and their best scorer, their biggest scorer, didn't score at all because they were taking him out of the game. So the youth that St. Xavier brings to this game against the experience of Dublin-Jerome, how do you see that affecting this championship game?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it does become I think early especially, right? Can St. X, the young guys, get their feet under them? But these guys, these kids play a lot of lacrosse. That sophomore class that you talked about, they're playing all year. They're experienced now. They beat Moeller in a 1-goal game. They beat UA in a 1-goal game in overtime. So, the big moment hasn't been too much for these young guys yet.
They're introducing all the players prior to the game. Dublin-Jerome, they played St. Ignatius in the semifinal game. They went down 1-0 in that game. They went on a 16-3 run and defeated St. Ignatius by a final score of 16-7. You see some of the keys to the game, and in that earlier game with St. Xavier, Coach felt that they maybe didn't have enough patience on the attack early in the game, and maybe that has to do with the experience level. They're playing in a state semifinal. Once they settled into their game, they started playing very well, and they're very gritty. They're very good at winning ground balls, which is key in any game.
Absolutely, and you talked about that senior class for the Jerome Celtics and what they have. So who's going to be the younger guys that are going to step up? Who's going to step up in addition to those seniors? And then, they're going to play fast, and patience isn't a word for Jerome. So I think it's just controlled, trying to limit your turnovers. When you play fast, you're going to have some turnovers. And obviously, you talked about those scores from their last 3 games. I mean, they've just been blitzing people.
Seems like teams with somewhat contrasting styles, but again, a youthful team, and they're going to come up. Obviously, they're playing in a state championship game, and they're going to be playing against a style that, as you said before, hardly anybody ever plays. So you're going to have to kind of adjust to that maybe on the fly. They did play him once earlier, but that is something. How much of a challenge will that be for a young team to cope with those 2 things simultaneously?
Well, the good thing is they did play earlier in the year. At the end of the regular season, Jerome won 16-12. And it's good for St. X in their youth that they're not seeing this speed and this style of play for the first time. So they've seen it once. And it'll be interesting. Coach Sprong, one of the best coaches in Ohio in the game, it'll be interesting to see what he's drawn up, and the biggest key for them, I think, is going to be when they do get stops, making sure they can get the ball to their offensive end of the field. And then I just talked about Coach Sprong from St. X and what a great coach he is, and his staff is fantastic. And then on the other side, you have Andy Asmo, who himself is a great coach, and his staff is fantastic. So great coaches, great teams. No surprise that these two are meeting here tonight.
Yates Sprong, the coach for St. Xavier, and Andy Asmo, the coach for Dublin Jerome. And he's not only had success, but he's had success bringing in a unique style of play, even though he himself wasn't a lacrosse player. That's quite an interesting story there. They were in the finals last year against Upper Arlington, and they lost a really hard-fought game 12-10. The year before they played Upper Arlington, and they won by a score of 12-11 in another really hard game. So they're not only experienced, they're experiencing guys that have been in state championships and have won and lost these kind of games. There's really not much that's going to take them by surprise.
No, this is their third year in a row playing in this game. And, I think last year, if you look at that game, there was a period in the second half, maybe 7 to 10 minute stretch, where they weren't very clean between the lines, and they didn't take care of the ball, and they had just a few too many turnovers. But that's their style of play. So it's that high risk, high reward. And the risk got the better half of them in that game. But they're a senior-led team. Their attack unit of Merrick Zagurnis, who is the all-time leading point scorer in Ohio high school's history, who's done it in 3 years. He had that COVID year. He didn't even play his freshman year. And half these games he's done by the first quarter because they're up by so many, which is, it's unbelievable when you think about what he's been able to accomplish. And a big part of that, and I know if you ask him, it'll be his line mates of Preston Stuckey and Carter Ungerot, who are all seniors, and they're just fantastic. The chemistry they have is really fun to watch.
One other aspect of this game, and touched on it earlier in kind of a jocular fashion, but there were 2 weather delays in the girls' game. This game was supposed to have started at 7, and a long period in which they had to wait around before the game started. We'll talk about that, but first of all, the national anthem here at historic Crew Stadium. So there it is, and we are just about ready to go. But these teams were sitting around for a couple of hours in the locker room, waiting out the weather and then finishing the girls' game and going through the ceremonies and then their warm-ups. Will this affect the players, or any of the players, maybe more than some others before a game?
Weather delays are tough. You never know. But here's the good thing on this weather delay. It happened at the beginning of the game. A weather delay in the middle of the game it's just different, and it's hard to, as you know, you got your pregame routine, you got the way that you prepare for a game to come out and make sure you're hitting on all cylinders. And if that happens in the middle and you have to reset and you have to do that, but you don't have the same amount of time, that affects you more than what we had here, where it was during the last game, the women's D1 championship. So, I think sitting around is a little bit harder, but these are young guys. They're not old guys.
They didn't seem to be bothered too much. No. They were having fun down there.
That's right. They're not old guys like you and me, so they don't need much to warm up. And they got their time. They had a half hour to warm up. And
Dublin Jerome huddled, coming out. One thing about St. Xavier, they're a strong team. They're a team that really can play it tough if they have to. Football players and players that know how to grind it out, and I would think that might be a strategy they'll try to employ very much in this game. It is kind of their team identity.
Well, one of the things that you'll notice for both of these teams is these kids play hard. You know, there's no easy plays, there's no gimmies. And you talked about St. X and you know, Coach Sprong. They want to do a blue-collar style of play. And you ask Coach Asma, they say the same thing. You know, they want their boys to compete, and they do. And, you know, when you look at St. X, you know, talking about number 6 for them, Khalif Hawker, he's a sophomore sensation. And, you know, against Upper Arlington, when they played in the last round, they locked him off. They locked him off, and then if he got the ball, they sent help. And so, you know, it'll be interesting to see what Jerome decides to draw up here to try and shut him down, and then what will open up because of their strategy. My guess, knowing Jerome, knowing Coach Asmo, you know, in their style of play, I think they're going to. I think both these teams roll out and say, we're going to play the same style, same play. We're not redesigning. We're not drawing anything new up here for the most part. We're going to play what's worked for us. Let's see if they can stop it.
All right, it should be a real battle, maybe even a real brawl out here tonight as the St. Xavier Bombers win the draw and go right to the attack. Magnus Violet, and he's won 64% of the faceoffs, but they quickly turn it around and start up the other way. It is knocked free, and that ground ball is secured by Dublin Jerome, and they go to the attack for the first time. So it looked like a chance for a real quick break there for St. Xavier, but they stopped it and counterattack quickly. Then they throw it away. Maybe a little bit of nerves early in the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but Magnus Violet out the front there, staring down the Jerome goalie and catches the post. They dodge a bullet. Now this is the important part of the game here for St. X. They need to be able to clear.
And they do manage to pick their way through the ride, and they get it over to Luke Sprong. And
looks like they went off sides. So that was a very systematic design clear. They did a great job of handling the pressure, but they went off sides. So you can tell that St. X has been working on getting the ball from defense to offense. Brady Sestelli now with the ball, number 4. He's a phenomenal football player. Will be playing in college next year. He does it
for the Ohio Bobcats in the Mid-American Conference.
He does everything for the Celtics.
And they work into their first real offensive possession, getting some touches for players on the squad to get them loosened up after that one errant pass their first time when they tried to counterattack after that shot at the post. Sestelli one-on-one up high, but he lost his footing, recovers, and did a good job maintaining the ball. Then he works it down low, up high again.
And you got St. X in a zone right now.
They used the zone very effectively in that game against Upper Arlington, and the goalkeeper comes up with that ball, and it is cleared out by Trent Yelton. He is a veteran, or not a veteran, but he's played for many years with the players on both sides. He's very, very familiar with them. And they get over the
go off sides
line,
again.
but again they give up the ball in an unforced fashion, and back comes.
Good news for St. X is that you've cleared the ball effectively twice. Bad news is you've gone offside right at the last second.
There's a shot, and Yelton manages to pick that one off. Corey Lorenzen is a junior goalkeeper for Dublin Jerome. He was the regional goalkeeper of the year. And he made some big saves, and that's part of the reason they were able to go on that 16-3 run against St. Ignatius. Had he not made some of those, it would have been a much closer game. Circling from behind and losing footing. I don't know if the rain earlier.
Yeah, we've had a couple guys fall.
And there was certainly some issues in terms of footing.
All right, this is where Jerome excels.
They come right back.
Oh,
and a
wow.
shot, a big save by Yelton, but the ball is loose, and he is able to cover it in the crease after saving the Bombers there on that big save on the counterattack. And now he comes out with it. He's going to try to orchestrate something on his own, and he makes a pass, but it's not quite accurate. But Spencer Stegbauer came up with it. Now they go to the attack, and it's over to Brendan Dealey, a 44-goal scorer.
Yeah, and so St. X is running Khalif Hawker, number 6, over to help clear. And you can see this pace. You know, everybody's just getting those nerves out right now. But Yelton's made a couple huge saves for St. X.
Brady Bennett, number 11, had the ball. He tied the game with Upper Arlington with 46 seconds to play. He's got it now. Scored 11 goals on the year, but he sure picked a big time to get one. And then DJ Wojciechowski scored the winner. He was a 19-goal scorer, so they locked off the 80-goal scorer, but a lot of the other guys rose to the occasion. That pass is nearly given away, but is recovered by Deely.
Almost.
He's still having trouble. That's the third time we've seen some issues with keeping footing, and the ball's going to be awarded to Dublin Jerome.
Yeah, you saw there. Just unable to come with a ground ball, which happens. You got to go next play mentality.
They had good control there and had trouble handling it. Then he had trouble staying on his feet. Pass forward to Gus Folke. And now over to Patrick Crowley.
Wow, St. X got away with a penalty there. Kyle White got hit in the head. His helmet actually came off, and the officials were just trailing the play, didn't see it.
Kyle White scored a hat trick in the semifinal victory, 5 points. Just playing catch here.
Yeah, this is, you'd like to see Merrick Zagurnis, number 11. He's a feed first type of player. There it is right there.
There's a great centering pass in the shot, whipped wide. They have the backup, so they'll maintain possession. And that was the first time that they've really orchestrated a good shot on goal.
Yeah, St. X is actually going to go and play Zagurnis behind.
And there's a shot, and that one scores. He was moving away from the goal and then just fired it back toward the net. And it's Zagurnis scoring to break the deadlock.
Yeah, on a nice feed from Carter Ungerat, and you see the chemistry coming into play. And saw Zagurnis feed on the first one, and Stuckey wasn't able to finish. And then on this goal here, he just works a little give and go with Carter Ungerat, and first one to go by Trent Yelton.
Zagurnis, 150-point scorer. Ungerat set him up. He scored 5 goals in that victory over St. Ignatius in that onslaught that they had. And now it is Derek Seichel moving it up. And there's once again Dublin Jerome on the attack. Preston Stuckey across. It worked from X now. With some good ball movement going after being a little tentative on their first couple of possessions. Up high. One-on-one, slicing off to the left. A bounce shot goes wide. But they'll maintain possession again. A good attempt there by Davis Picer.
Yeah, and with the zone here that you're seeing, you got to get them rotating. You got to find a way to get them moving and then pick them apart.
D'Angelo Nordoni, he's pressured. Loose ball, and it is going to maintain itself in the possession of Dublin Jerome after they very nearly force a turnover with some aggressive defense. This Dublin Jerome team, they start to look like they're more comfortable, and there's a shot and a goal.
Carter Ungerat.
Carter Ungerat set up the first one, and now he fires in the second goal.
Yeah, this is the tough part here of playing zone against this Jerome team. When you have a player like Carter Ungerat, who, look at them just find that soft spot in that release. He's got one of the smoothest releases in Ohio lacrosse. That's a thing of beauty.
He's their second leading scorer after Zagurnis. They're a real duo, and they have got the Dublin Jerome Celtics out to a 2-0 lead, and their coach, Andy Asma, that's what he says, is that they can oftentimes get some momentum and some real runs going, and they can facilitate that by winning faceoffs, and there they do. Brady Sestily, but he had it knocked away and was dispossessed. The ball is loose, but recovered. A flag flying. Laundry on the field.
It's going to be a free play for Jerome.
They're going to end up going a man up, but they have a chance to go on the attack right here. Broken up, and the play still alive. Battling for the ground ball right at midfield. Finally, the whistle goes. And here's a chance for Jerome to really sustain some momentum. And it appears that Khalif Hocker is going off.
Yeah, they got him for a cross check. Had him high. What's interesting is I believe St. X thought they had an offsides. and they actually only had 2 guys back on the offensive end of the field as far as I could tell. So I think they thought they had an offsides, and they ran an extra defender back, and the officials didn't catch that. But the result, either way, is a 1-minute penalty, 1-minute man up. We'll see what Coach John Ewert has drawn up here. He's a legend in Ohio high school lacrosse, head coach for a long time, now assistant for Andy Asmo and offensive coordinator.
They wheel the ball down low, and they get a shot. It's stopped, and Trent Yelton managed to kill the play, and he's got to come up big now and get the possession early here and the man down, and they can kill off a good deal of this time and maybe even get a chance, a man down. The shot is in, but just unable to control it. Brendan Dealey, and now they break back the other way. A really good shorthanded opportunity, and back comes Dublin Jerome.
And that's exactly what Dublin Jerome wants, how they want you to play.
Right out front, they score. So they are able to counterattack. That's Ungerad again.
From Stuckey.
He's got 3 points. The team's got 3 goals, and they're up 3-0. Here's a look at it. Once again, some good work passing the ball around the cage, and ends up putting it in up high.
And you want to talk about pace of play and style, and this is Jerome Lacrosse. They have 3 guys down on the offensive end, and they're man up, and they're subbing, and they jam it in the crease and get a goal. You know, every other team in the country is pulling their guys off, getting their offensive personnel on, and then trying to execute out of the man up.
Obviously, lacrosse is a sport where the momentum can change quickly. This ball awarded to St. Xavier off the draw, but they've got to start coming up with something here. It's a shot that just went wide by Owen Hodgett, and they recover the ball below the goal. They certainly don't want this team to really get on a roll the way they did against St. Ignatius.
Yeah, and the thing is, St. X has actually had a couple opportunities. They just haven't been able to capitalize. They've gotten what they've wanted. You had the first draw that they hit off the post, and then they had a couple opportunities where it looked like they were going to get decent shots, and they either slipped or just weren't able to handle the ball. So, you know, if you're St. X, you got to stay calm, run the system, and take care of the ball.
And that was an errant pass, and they got to it anyway.
Oh, they got it tipped. I'm not sure that it was, but
they're going to award the ball back to St. X.
And that pass right there, that's fool's gold. It looks like your teammate's open. He's running away from you. Even if he does catch that, there's nowhere for him to go or anything to do with it, and the D's going to collapse. So
now that Khalif Hocker, they may have to get some additional production from him after he was largely taken out of it by the face guarding tactics of Upper Arlington in the last game. They started slow in that game too. There's a shot, and that one is just burned wide by DJ Wojciechowski. He's the one who scored the winner in overtime in that semifinal game, that thriller.
Yeah, he came back from a knee injury. Obviously, St. X love to have him back.
Upper Arlington won the draw. They barely missed on their first attack, and then on the counter, St. Xavier put it away. Now moving the ball on the left, it's Wojciechowski. Showing some more patience. That's what they were lacking early, but there's an errant pass out to midfield, and it is recovered by Preston Stuckey. And it is Dublin Jerome back to the attack. A good face dodge there. Couldn't quite get to the net, but they are in good control. Ungerad, who's really been prominent here in the game so far. Pass out up high, another shot. That one fired wide, but Ungerad is back.
Those unforced turnovers are just continuing to come back to bite St. X early in this first quarter.
St. X calls a timeout here.
That's a good timeout from Coach Sprong.
And down there, and he has a young team, granted a young team of outstanding players who have passed some major tests and high pressure games, but now they're up against it early against a very experienced and talented team. What can they maybe do? What is Coach trying to maybe A, settle his team down, and then B, try to get something going in the other direction?
Yeah, the good news is your goalie's playing great. Trent Yelton's made a lot of saves early, so he's seeing the ball, which is critical to win a big game like this. The second thing is you've cleared the ball decently well, but you had 2 offsides. penalties, so both of those came back. And then you've thrown the ball away on offense. You had a couple opportunities that would have led to good shots if you just catch the ball. So talk about nerves and just settling in, but the game plan that St. X has seems to be working decently well. They just haven't been able to execute. So I think the message that Coach Sprong has to his team is, guys, stay the course. You know, we're prepared. The things are working. We just got to take care of the ball and handle the ball and let the nerves go and see what happens. Then if you're Jerome, you see in the zone, you feel pretty good. You've gotten the shots that you want. So be patient. You know, don't rush here. Although you are Jerome, so you're probably going to take the first shot. And then, you know, Jerome is fine taking what I would call a bad shot and then turning around and riding. So you talk about that style of play. They're fine.
Yeah, and they start off in possession. And a goal here would really allow them to consolidate the momentum they've been building. And it's a long game, and a 4-goal lead might seem like a lot, but it can dissipate quickly. And there the ball is stolen away as, again, Sesterly seemed to lose his footing, but they recovered at midfield.
So this is, you see Jerome comes out of a timeout, and they have their long stick midfielder, number 3, Cale Hawk, out there. He's playing offense. So that's what you would call, you know, most people would say that's a disadvantage. You don't have a short stick, one of your better stick handlers out there. But advantage is when you turn it over, he turns around and rides the ball right back.
That was an opportunity for Sesterly, and that one just goes parallel to goal line extended and all the way out.
So St. X now is checked out of their zone and is in demand. So it's 3-0, just over 2 minutes remaining.
And Dublin Jerome, they like to play at a fast tempo, but they're showing that they're very comfortable in a ball control type of scheme. There's a shot that got whipped wide.
Yeah, Ungarat again. I'd let him keep shooting. He's got the hot hand.
Really scored from that spot on the other side of the field. Narrowly missed this time, but as long as they have that back up there, they know that they maintain control. And so far, they are dictating the style and tempo of this game. And as a team, senior-laden team in their 3rd straight state final, that's not to be too surprising. That shot wide is, once again, Sesterly lets it go.
Yeah, and there's no secret to what Sesterly's going to do. He's going to get the ball up high, run downhill, and he's got a cannon of a shot.
High again. And there's a shot. He switched to the left hand.
Hit Merrick Zagurnis behind the cage.
And it allowed the ball to be picked up by Max Bonner for St. X, and a good outlet pass wide. And they get it forward. And Gus Folke on the move. He made a good pirouette there at midfield. And some open space for Johnny Gutman, who scored a big goal in the last game, a 71-goal scorer. He scored the goal that put them in front with just under 4 minutes to go for the first time. They'd been trailing practically the whole game against Upper Arlington.
Free play here for St. X. The flag down.
Laundry on the field, and a chance to move in, the shot, and goal. And that could turn things around in a hurry. Brady Bennett, who scored the goal that forced overtime in the last game, has scored a big one here.
It's a big goal for St. X. Nothing crazy here. Run by your guy. No help defense. Nobody comes. It's about as easy as they get.
No one was able to slide over after he beat that first man, and then that bounce shot, as you saw, a good shot of, finds the back of the cage, and it is 3-1.
Yeah, there's nothing your goalie can do there, one-on-one.
And that is a whole new lease on life for St. X after they had been on their heels for most of the first quarter.
Okay, they had Jerome out of the box early. They've actually got to get him back in. The officials do. Well.
Pass over to Stegbauer. He's got some green in front of him, and he's on the move. Pass across. It's gathered in by Gutman.
Oh, wow,
and
great
shot,
save.
and a great save there by Lorenzen. the regional goalie of the year, picks it off, and they nearly cut the game to 3-2. And back comes Dublin Jerome in the final seconds of the first quarter. This is Kyle White.
And once again, if you're St. X, you love what you just got there.
Out in front, and an errant pass. Yelton comes up with it. And a long Gilman pass, and they almost got a shot out of that. Then they fire at the length of the field again. And that one will just go over everyone, and the high-pace first quarter comes to an end with Dublin Jerome leading against St. X by a score of 3-1. And we'll be right back with the second quarter.
Sony battery charging. I'm down to about 46%. I might be good, but they're about to drop it. They're going.
Second quarter, Jerome up 3-1, but St. X ending that first quarter on a bit of a high note after they were in danger of really falling behind, and now they battle and come up with a ground ball as Gutman passes it out. Looked like they had a chance of direct attack, but back to Andrew Arthur, and they'll just set things up.
Yeah, so St. X now is getting a feel for the speed and the pace, and you can practice all you want, you know. When you're playing in this style of game against Jerome, who plays this way all year round, there's really nothing you can do to prepare for it. And so the pressure that you see constantly, you just have to be ready for it, and you have to be ready to handle it. And like we said, St. X has had some opportunities, just haven't been able to bury it.
Now they've got another chance, a shot, they bury that one. A goal by Hocker. So he makes his presence felt to cut the score to 3-2.
Nice job by DJ Wojciechowski, or excuse me, who's that? Bennett?
Pass it over to Hocker.
Yeah, this is just, look at this step down. Wow.
That was a good feed from Wojciechowski. And that could be a real X factor. They took Hocker out of the game, but the other guys stepped up. But he is a very potent scorer.
Yeah, that
and
is somebody you want to get to.
If he can really make an impact on this game, it could turn things around very quickly. And now it's once again St. X to the attack. Magnus Violet, who's strong on the draw, is a bounce shot goal. We're tied, and a flag flies after the goal. What a turnabout here.
No doubt. I was just about to say one of the best things going for St. X right now is that they're winning faceoffs. And you see Magnus Violet there. He is a tough kid. Great stick protection. He's a good box player. See that paying off there. He takes the hit.
Three guys took him down. He still made the play.
I love that he gets back up and goes right back to the X. I mean, he took a big hit. I could tell you that hurt. And he's a tough kid, getting right back in there and basically telling coach, like, hey, I'm taking this next face-off, and you're a man up. So there's Jerome as a player in the box. So this will be a 6-on-5 if St. X is able to win possession here.
Violet won over 60% of his draws this year. And he not only won that draw, he took it all the way in and scored and took the hit to make the play, as they say.
And then he won the next face-off, which is huge. So
this is just resulting in a massive momentum swing in this game that they're able to not only score, but then get the ball right back. And here's Max Bonner. Off it goes to Gutman, a 71-goal scorer.
It's going to be a man-up opportunity for St. X.
They could take the lead here, and they looked like they were just hanging by a thread not very long ago. And those sophomores really showed a lot of poise. It is Stegbauer, Wojciechowski.
Yeah, and you can see that Jerome is locking off Khalif Hocker.
I guess after that last play, they figured they better. There's a good roll dodge and a shot. Just bounced wide by Luke Sprong. And they came that close to taking the lead, but they'll maintain possession of the ball.
And this is nothing new to see this in a man-up set. Number 6 in blue being locked off. So Coach Sprong has been working on this all year.
Pass somehow escaped Sprong, but he got it back. There's a shot, and Wojciechowski fires it over the crossbar.
That was Johnny Gutman.
Oh, yes, indeed, it was.
Yeah, nice release. Just not able to put it on target. See how skilled both these teams are and the athletes they have.
You know, that's why they're in the state final.
No doubt.
And they are really showing it. And St. X, the way they have bounced back from an early hole is very impressive. That shot was blocked, and it was recovered by Cale Hock, back of the goal, and he got it out to his keeper, Corey Lorenzen. And so a big defensive stop there by Jerome. They do not go behind, and now they go back on the attack. Gavin Dean spins away from his man, trying to split 2 defenders, dish the ball off, but they just couldn't quite finish the play as it got away from Stuckey. And back comes St. X again, and a good, long, effective run. Turning back upfield, Jackson Davidson, seeing as didn't have a direct run. We've got a flag down. And
yeah,
once
gonna be a free play.
St. X will have a man-up situation beckoning.
Yeah, it's going to be, oh, there comes another one.
It's
so
raining flags.
I
The way it
believe
was raining earlier.
Yeah, we'll see if they got a second one or if this is the same, but they're offsides. They have 7 guys. You saw Coach Sprong put his hands up and say, guys, slow it down. Let's not waste this free possession.
Wojciechowski played it back for Stegbauer.
So there's 7 defenders now on the field for Jerome.
Dealey tried to make the play, and now the whistle. And they will assess the penalties.
See if there's 1 or 2. I think they both had offsides.
And going over, Ungarat for Dublin Jerome.
Yeah, so it's just one penalty. We had 2 flags, but for the same thing, so a 30-second opportunity for the Bombers.
I guess they just made sure they didn't miss it. So here we go, and again, the Bombers trying to take the lead, but a bad pass. They'll have to battle for it at midfield, staying onside. They get it back. A really good play there by Max Bonner, and they score as they come right back, and Johnny Gutman sticks it in to make it 4-3. St. X has come all the way back to grab the lead after trailing 3-0 early.
And that goal happens because of Bonner keeping the ball and not allowing the over and back. You see the feed from Stegbauer. Just a great feel there from the young man, the freshman, number 12 for the Bombers, of drawing that slide, and then Gutman knows what to do with it.
So a bad pass ended up being the impetus for scoring the goal because of Bonner's strong play at midfield. We've got another flag down. Again, St. X going to the attack. A shot and a big save there, robbing Violet, who came right to goal after winning a draw again. And it's a struggle for that loose ball. It's picked up, but now the whistle goes again, and once more, it is going to be Dublin Jerome playing a man down. Now they're the team that got to be careful. Keep St. X's momentum from cresting too much.
Yeah, and Jerome's fine. Jerome's fine with this pace and this style. You know, the best thing going for St. X right now is they're winning draws. So they're having possessions. They're not having to start on defense. And then, like you said, they're able to control this pace. They're going to slow it down as much as they can.
Sestelli.
I hate to say slow it down because they don't slow it down. They just don't play at the same style or speed that Jerome does.
Sestelli going off to the box. So here is this man-up opportunity for St. X. They have scored 4 straight goals, now 5. As that is put in by Luke Sprong. Another fine assisted goal. And St. X has taken over the game, and you see their fans are in ecstasy.
Yeah, dealing with a good pass here. Once again, this is just good team offense. Guys work into space, work into spots, and Sprong is a great finisher. Also coming back from a knee injury. Coach's son, usually knows where to go on the field.
He definitely looked like he knew exactly what he was doing. And it's 5-3 St. X. What a comeback they have already performed, and they have the ball again off the draw.
Yeah, Violet continuing to win draws.
Dipping the shoulder, Bonner making a good forward move.
Coach Sprong with a timeout. Good timeout again, Coach Sprong.
And he senses that his team is really on the move, and they've got a chance to possibly seize control of this game early on, and he's going to make sure that they get what they want out of this offensive possession. As you see again, the fans very valuable on both sides.
Yeah, great crowd. Turned into a beautiful evening.
I think in some strange way, it was very hot, very humid earlier. It's like perfect conditions now. It's almost like it wasn't that bad of a thing that the game started later.
Hey, playing under the lights in this stadium, high school state championship, what more could you ask for?
And you see there the fans for Dublin Jerome. Any surprises about the way this game has gone so far? With Dublin Jerome, with all their experience, and not only with seniors, but playing third straight state championship, they seem to have good control early. Are you surprised at all that this young team for St. X has come back as strong as they have so quickly?
St. X is a great team. They have great coaching, and you could tell they looked like the more nervous team in that first quarter. They've gotten their feet under them, and the big thing is they've been winning possessions and they've been scoring. So, if they continue to win the faceoff and get those extra possessions and are able to slow down or not play at that pace, that run and gun, that up and down, leave the poles on everywhere, Jerome pace, they're going to be in a good spot. And for Jerome, the way that they play, being down 2 goals means nothing to them. They're gonna keep playing their style. They're never out of striking distance because they can score in bunches.
Another factor is just that they've been taking penalties early, and they've had these man-up opportunities for St. X. And here's an opportunity again as Brady Bennett got a step on defender but never could get a shot off. But they maintain possession up high for Hocker. Khalif Hocker. He said he's one of the top prospects in really anywhere.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He works extremely hard and he's very skilled. And he's a sophomore, and he was locked off all game by Upper Arlington in their last game, and he's seen lockoffs all year.
Brady Bennett had a chance, but he fired that one wide. And even if they lock off a great player, but if they have to devote defensive resources to him, that creates opportunities for other guys.
In theory, right? Because one of the problems that you have
There's
a lot.
A shot, and it's blocked. It looked like a yawning opportunity.
One of the problems that you can have when you have a player like Hocker.
Here they come again.
Ooh.
And that shot wide. Can't get 2 words in the pace of this game.
No, it's okay. I was going to say, sometimes when you have a player like a Khalif, when he has the ball, other players watch. And, so you have to move off ball. He's a great feeder. You got to find soft spots, and you can't just watch your best player with the ball. And St. X hasn't done that yet. And as long as they don't do that when the ball is in his stick, they should be able to get some good scoring opportunities because of the amount of resources, as you said, that are devoted to trying to stop him.
So you can make an impact on the game when you're a player like that, even if you're not really handling the ball. There's a good outlet pass, and they get a chance, and that shot with the real mustard on it by Kyle White just went wide. Or by Ungarat. He got Ungarat backing up the play, and he's got it now out of the corner. High, and now here's a chance. Dublin Jerome, they just run a good attack score. They're back to within one. There's some contact. Defender goes down. Ungarat now below the goal. The pass out to White. White with a face dodge in front. The shot, that one just missed, but
they got a penalty here.
Sigornis in position, but another flag, and this time it will be a call against St. X.
I think they're going to have a hold. They could have gone a hold or a cross check. He got high on Kyle White. Yeah, I got a hold. And Folk.
So it's a chance now. The last few man-up opportunities had gone for St. X, but now Dublin Jerome gets an opportunity and a chance to tighten it up. You get the feeling there have been some runs for either team, but at the end of the game, it's going to be a nail-biter.
Yeah, and this is the first possession that Jerome's had.
And they've had a shot blocked, but they get it back. Picked up by Sigornis.
They had the Kyle White shot, right there to lead to this, and then the quick dodge. But this is the first time they've really thrown the ball around the perimeter. Obviously, man up and working for a great opportunity.
And that shot, this goes wide. That left-handed cannon.
Yeah, that's deep for a goalie like Trent Yelton. It's going to be tough to score him from that distance.
Xander Johnson took that shot. They tried to put it in front, but a lot of congestion in front of the goal. It's recovered by Dublin Jerome, however, and they get it out for Sestelli. Couldn't control it. Getting over now in a real ground ball battle.
Yeah, push in the back.
And the ball goes back to Dublin Jerome. Sestelli with a shot as he just managed to slice off his defender and then get a really hard drive. But again, just missing the target.
Sestelli's a tough kid. You see him just right hand, run hard, be an athlete, get your hands free.
You see why he's going to be a D1 football player. Up high it goes. And there's Anderson again, the shot,
Good
and
shot.
this time he scores. A little, not so far out this time. And he shot left-handed the last time. That was a right-handed shot. And he makes it 5-4.
It's actually pretty good defense here from Bonner, but gets his hands free. That's a great shot placement. Xander Johnson's a lefty. Uses his big body to initiate contact, is able to roll away and get his hands free. But like you said, getting a little bit closer in definitely helps.
Shifted to that right-hand shot with great dexterity and didn't lose any force on the shot. And now the ball's on the ground and picked up again by Jerome. Darren cycling it back up to another attack. Off on the right. Now they can tie the game with 4 minutes to go in the opening half. This is Sigornis, their big threat. He passes it low, and the shot by Gavin Dean just missed and ends up about 10 rows high.
It's a great pass from Sigornis to Dean. Gets top side, draws the defender, and throwing back. That's a tough pass. Puts it right on Dean's stick. He just wasn't able to find the back of the net.
Sigornis not only with the state record for points, he's also considered one of the very best, if not the best, riders in the entire state.
Kid plays hard, no doubt.
And out in front it goes, and it's a good recovery of that ball. Hawk with a shot, and that was stopped by Yelton.
It's a good
great
take.
save there. And then he passes it out and makes a very fine outlet pass. Similar to soccer, the goalie's got to do a lot more than just stop shots. And it's recovered on a strong ride.
Great
by
ride.
Cycle. And now right in front,
Oh,
and
wow,
Yelton steps out and intercepts it.
Yeah, Ungarat was going to have a layup there.
And now he's moving out. Yelton still with the ball. And he dished it off. They go right to the attack. He's got a long retreat back to the goal, but what a job by the goalkeeper. Would have been a wide open goal, and as you said, an uncontested goal. But Yelton made a big save on the previous play, a good outlet pass and an interception. He starts the attack. What more can you do?
Great series there for Yelton.
Wild action. But when the smoke clears, St. X still with a 1-goal lead. Intact. Here's Brady Bennett, and trying to make it 2, but he just fired it wide. But they'll maintain possession as we're getting down to the latter stages of this opening half. An action-packed game. Here's a great maneuver, and the shot just went wide.
Yeah, nice little moves from Stegbauer there.
Spencer Stegbauer,
Like to
the
see
31 goal scorer.
Yeah, as a freshman. I'd like to see him work his way back to the middle there. Increase his angle so he has a little more goal to shoot at. When you're playing good goaltenders like this, you can't, low angle shots are tough to go.
He's got a few years to work on that.
Yeah, and you've read his stat line as a freshman, and he's creating. And
here's a shot that just went wide. And it's again Spencer Stegbauer, 9 assists to go with his 31 goals.
yeah, he's creating. Saw him get to the middle there, like that shot a lot better.
He had a lot more room, a lot more options, better angle. Back of the goal now, it's Hocker. Give and go. Stegbauer fed it back out to Hocker, and that shot with a lot on it just went wide.
Yeah, no backup.
And the ball goes over to Dublin Jerome, so despite the fact that they were under intense pressure, they deny St. X, and again, they can tie it up. And even though both teams have gone on runs, you kind of get the feeling that that's where this game ought to be. It's just about even here.
Good timeout.
And we got a timeout.
Yeah, Coach
By
Asmo.
Dublin Jerome. As there's 1:24 left to go in the half. And so now they're showing their experience, and they've gathered themselves up after giving up a 5-goal run to St. X, and now they want to run something very effective here to possibly tie the game at halftime.
Yeah, and I think with, good timeout there from Coach Asmo, like I said, he's got a pull under pressure at midfield. You don't take them with you to the locker room, so use them. And, what are you going to draw? What's Coach Ewart going to draw up here? So, assume he's just going to run his base offense. Expect to see like a 14, a 1-4-1. Good ball movement. I like to see Zagurnis get a little bit more involved as far as creating. He's their guy. You mentioned him. He'll let the game come to him, but I think let him initiate a little bit and have some guys work off him, see if he can find Ungerad or Stuckey.
Yeah, he's a 150-point scorer, but he's equally effective as a distributor, as a shooter.
Yeah, he's very balanced. He's a smart player. He takes what the defense gives him.
So they're ready to go at it again. St. X embracing themselves for this attack here late in the first half.
I love that Jerome rolls a pole out there, out of a timeout.
So let's see what they came up with and how they're able to execute it.
Yeah, Sestelli downhill.
Sestelli on the move, and that shot went up high, but they're well positioned to maintain the ball.
Zagurnis with the ball now.
It's
See
Max
if he
Bonner.
initiates. Yeah, he's going against a great defender in Max Bonner.
Played a great defensive game and played a big role in the goal they scored. Then he managed to just turn that errant pass into an outlet pass. Out they come now. A little bit of room, but White can't get a shot. Shakes off his defender, plays it up high. Here's an opportunity. Sestelli fires, and another fine save by Yelton. He has played a whale of a first half, but his pass couldn't quite be fielded. That's going to give another opportunity for Jerome, as Infante came up with the ball, but they give it away in turn. Sestelli trying to win it back, and does. What a job there.
Yeah, nice job. He got away with a little bit of a loose ball push.
Zagurnis works in front and scores.
Zagurnis. Talk about just opportunistic, and he just takes advantage. You see here, catch the ball, and you're going to see a beautiful right to left split dodge. Looks like he's feeding, holds Bonner with his eyes. One move, and then there's nothing Yelton can do there.
And as you said, there might have been a little bit of a push, but in a rugged game like this, it was probably borderline enough. They let it go, and Sestelli made a great pass.
Yeah, got the ground ball, got the possession, and
And a timeout again here as they won that draw, and they're not satisfied with tying it. They want to take the lead.
No doubt.
I think what we've seen in this first half shows a lot about the character of both teams.
Yeah, these are, we talk about, both these teams are playing in the state championship. They've got great players. They've got great coaches. And, they're going to stay the course and stay the systems. And both teams are getting, to a certain extent, what they want. And so this is a back-and-forth battle. And we'll see what Coach Ewert draws up again, what he drew up last time. Worked, got him even. I guess Zagurnis got the ball and made some nice moves. That's always a good offensive.
Get the ball to Zagurnis. You can't go wrong with that, right? What about defensively, what St. X is maybe trying to prepare for?
Well, if you think about that last possession, Yelton made a save, which is a shot that I think you're pretty happy giving up from Sestelli from pretty deep. And he makes a save. He just didn't clear the ball. You got to clear the ball, and we talked about it in the open. Clearing, to me, clearing and faceoffs are the two biggest keys for St. X. Once they get the ball on the offensive end, I think they're going to get opportunities. Yelton's going to make saves, which he's done. Are you going to be able to get stops? And when you do, are you going to be able to get it to your offense? And they haven't been great in their clearing game thus far.
Yelton had made a couple of good clears earlier in that one wild sequence, but that one where they could have gotten out of the half with the lead and maybe extended it, they weren't able to. That shot just went wide as they got it in front to Stuckey. But he couldn't get the shot away. Down to 5 seconds left. Can they get one more shot? No. The ball just bounded away. And they still almost got one, but time finally expires. So quite a first half of action there between Dublin Jerome and St. Xavier. And I think at the end of the day, both teams had their opportunities, but that 5-5 score is pretty indicative of the play.
Yeah, back and forth battle. Jerome jumped out early. St. X weathered the storm, took the lead, and then Jerome comes back, ties it up 5-5 at halftime. Really interested to see what adjustments are made at halftime and what the pace of play looks like in the second half.
Yeah, it looks like we've got quite a second half, quite a state championship game here at historic Crew Stadium, and we'll be back coming up with the second half shortly.
Come on! Oh, what a bad call! You have no business being out there. Terrible!
I'm a person too.
High school sports teach kids so many life lessons.
But less than 5% of high school student athletes play sport in college.
That's why it's so important that you sports coaches go beyond the X's and O's.
And teach skills that will stay with kids long after their playing days are done.
So who is a coach that coaches beyond?
A coach who cares.
When I coach beyond, I am authentic.
I know that I can count on my coaches to show up every day.
I know that I can talk to my coach on and off the court.
We all want to win, but coaching is about relationships.
My coach creates a sense of belonging
for everyone in our program.
A coach is a teacher and a role model.
My sport is my last classroom of the day.
I'm still learning after the school day ends.
We establish expectations for being a member of our school community.
I'm held accountable.
And I think about more than myself.
We place our students.
Nick Gallagher, Vice President of the Association. First, we'd like to recognize and congratulate the first team All-State Award winners. At attack from Jerome, Merrick Zagurnis. At attack from St. Xavier, Khalif Hocker. At attack from Hilliard-Davidson, Adam Van Voorhees. And also at attack from Upper Arlington, Tommy Janowitz. At defense from Hilliard-Davidson, Cade Gauco. On defense from Upper Arlington, Hayes Hundley. At defense from Moeller, Tommy Steins. And at defense from Jerome, Derek Hull. At faceoff from Westerville South, Connor Stahelli. At faceoff from Mason, Gavin DeWitt. At goalie from Jerome, Corey Lorenzen. At goalie from Worthington Kilbourne, Preston Hawkins. At long stick midi from Jerome, Luke McLaughlin. From Hoover, Bryce Roach. And from Worthington Kilbourne, Ryan Freck. At midfield from Jerome, Brady Sestelli. From Liberty, Braden Spencer. From Upper Arlington, Quinn Crotty. From Pickerington Central, Dominic Shaw. And representing Milford, Luke Ray. At short stick defensive midi from Upper Arlington, Charlie Lenzel. And from Liberty, Jake Struck. Congratulations to our first team All-State winners. Now we'd like to recognize and congratulate our positional award winners. Our midfielder of the year from Dublin Jerome is Brady Sestelli. The attack player of the year from Dublin Jerome is Merrick Zagurnis. The defensive player of the year from Hilliard Davidson is Cade Gauco. Long stick midi player of the year from Dublin Jerome, Luke McLaughlin. Face-off player of the year from Mason, Gavin DeWitt. And from Westerville South, Connor Stahelli. Our short stick defensive midi of the year from Upper Arlington is Charlie Lenzel. Goalie of the year from Dublin Jerome, Corey Lorenzen. The coach of the year is from Hilliard Davidson, David Ames. The assistant coach of the year from Oldentangy Liberty, John Howenstein. And the player of the year from Dublin Jerome, Merrick Zagurnis. The man of the year from Hilliard Davidson is Bear Davis. Join me in congratulating all of these award winners. The Lacrosse Coaches Association would like to thank everyone for attending tonight's game and wish both teams good luck in the second half of the state final.
Athletes' physical and mental health as our top priority.
My coach creates a safe environment
to practice and compete.
That's why it's so important that coaches go beyond the X's and O's.
Please join the Ohio High School Athletic Association, Life Sports at The Ohio State University, and the Susan Crown Exchange as we continue with our goal to train 1 million coaches.
We can all coach beyond.
And it's a full moon out now at historic Crew Stadium. It was a little bit of even a lot of a long day with the 2 weather delays, but it's just perfect setting now. And we're a half away from determining the state championship in what looks like it's going to be a barn burner. What do you anticipate here? Teams making any major adjustments based on what they saw in the first half?
It'll be interesting. I don't think Jerome's going to change anything because that's their DNA, the way they play, how they operate. I think if you're St. X, too, you feel really good with what your game plan, what you've come in with. And I think the biggest thing for St. X is they just need to take care of the ball. When they get stops, they got to clear. And on offense, don't throw the ball away. And
they just gave it up there to start. They've got to execute with the letter X. That would maybe win it for them. If they win this year with all these sophomores, who knows? It could be a real powerhouse in future years. But here comes Jerome, and they score right off the bat. Sestelli buries it to make it 6-5.
Stelly's been able to get his hands free all game and finally finds the back of the net.
Number 4, Brady Sestelli.
That was the earlier goal that was scored. But here's the one as it went across. Sestelli scoring, and as you said, he walked in practically unencumbered, and you can't let him do that.
Cincinnati St.
When he missed the net earlier, he had some guys leaning on him.
Yeah, he's such a great athlete. He's able to get his hands free pretty much whenever he wants.
Yeah,
he just wasn't able to find the back of the net.
And now it's Jerome winning the draw. They were losing a lot of draws in the first half, and that's an uncharacteristic mistake, and they might have had a really good chance to score again as Ungarat could not quite field that ball.
Yeah, and that's one there where you dodge a bullet. You got the best attack line in the state on a fast break. They don't capitalize, and you throw the ball away after you get a stop. So
they do get the ball back, but yes, nonetheless, that has to be vexing. They had a really good opportunity, and the sort of a play that often, especially for a great line like that, is almost money in the bank. But now they've got a chance to go up 2 again. Sestelli once more. Floated it over, winding up, and the shot was blocked. Yelton again has played yeoman game in goal. And then out they come. St. X looking to tie it up again. Hodgett at midfield, surrounded. Got it loose nicely.
They got to take care of the ball. They've been really lucky on these passes that they've strung together so far, St. X. And they're offsides again.
That's the 3rd time. And they had a 4th where they thought they were offside and they ended up losing possession. And it's a big stage for some very young players, although they have certainly coped with that very, very well. There have been some mistakes that might be considered of the youthful variety.
And for St. X, they got the ball down to their attack. Gutman got the ball. And then while they're subbing, while St. X is subbing, Jerome is double and triple teaming the ball because they're not subbing anybody.
White got a good shot away. Yelton just picked it off, made it look easy. And out comes St. X again, trying to burrow his way through Folke, but he got stopped.
Yeah, Folke's got to roll back there. You can't go head down, full steam ahead. He was in a triple team. They got to space out, keep their head up. If you're open, you need to run and fill the void. And they just don't go off sides. They can't go off sides. They've had 3 offsides penalties in this game.
And as we get down towards crunch time, those are the sorts of things that can make the difference. Here is Wojciechowski getting a half step on Kyle White, trying to take advantage of it. He lays the ball off nicely in the shot. And that one went over the top as he found Gutman.
Looks like Wojciechowski's coming out. I don't know. He's coming off gingerly. Not sure what happened.
Yes, he
took
is.
some contact in the middle there.
A little bit gimpy. And hopefully he'll be able to get back out. But for the time being, Alex Sharma replaces him. And St. X now spreading it out and looking to attack deliberately here. Sharman. The great move, first right, then left, and the shot, and he scores. Sharma just stepping off to replace Wojciechowski, and it didn't take him long to make his presence felt.
Yeah, Sharma just wins his individual matchup. Gets to the middle, and this is maybe the second or the third goal where we've seen no help defense or it be late and hanging their goalie out to dry.
Goal by St. X.
He did make quite a good move as he went first right and cut sharply back left, but again, the help didn't arrive quickly enough. And it's 6-all. And now St. X trying to come up with the ball. Looked like they might. Lost it, but then it's re-intercepted by Bonner, who's played a really stellar game. Now it's a 2-on-1 as they break in on the left side. This is Deely, and he wasn't able to get a shot, but he's going to try again, and he's forced off. And a good defensive play there by Xander Johnson, who scored a big goal in the first half. Looked like Deely was very close to being right in on goal there.
He was. I think it was a good decision for him. Oh, good ground ball there.
And there. See, both teams are really just leaving it all out there on the field, going after those ground balls.
Yeah, unforced turnover there from the Bombers.
Pass forward for Xander Johnson. Tried to split the defense, lost the ball. Back comes St. X on a counterattack.
So if you're St. X here, value the ball, slow it down, get your personnel on.
Great acceleration by Sharma.
Yeah, or do the opposite, or just ignore me.
Whatever
but
works,
honestly,
I guess.
Honestly, that wasn't a bad shot. I just don't think, I think if you get in a track meet with Jerome, it's going to be really tough to keep up. That's how they want to play. And so kind of understand, if you got a fast break, you got an opportunity, take it. If you're still getting your personnel on, there's no real advantage, just slow it down and play your game.
Khalif Hocker tried a whirling shot, but then thought the better of it, played it back out. 6-6 tie here, 7.5 minutes to go in the third. Slicing off Brady Bennett, and that shot over the top, but they will maintain possession as Deely was there. Protracted possession here by St. Xavier. And they're showing real patience. Sharma, who's come on and really made an impact. Up high it goes for Bennett, and he scores. Bennett shoots St. X back into the lead.
Yeah, Bennett continues to get his hands free. You're going to see the shot placement. Just goes right to right, little split here. Uses his body, his shoulder, creates contact, and then that shot placement, that overhand low and away, that's tough.
Get the idea of the youthfulness of this team. He's a junior. His goal that tied the Upper Arlington game was the only goal that was scored by a non-sophomore in that game, and their top-scoring sophomore didn't score a goal. So they are loaded with young talent, but here comes Dublin Jerome right back with a shot that goes wide. And Yelton trying to hustle out of that cage to maybe win the possession for his team. Couldn't quite get there, but he is another outstanding sophomore and has been playing very strong game tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been great.
Very dynamic, too.
Yeah, made plays outside of the cage.
Here's Jerome Scavin-Dean. Xander Johnson, back to Dean, bounce shot wide. Sigornis is there. He was named the player of the year, they announced at halftime.
Yeah, you set the all-time points record for the state of Ohio in 3 years. Probably deserve player of the year.
I would say so. Very, very deserving. Out in front, and he tried to.
Oh, wow, went in.
He scored somehow on that. I'll have to take another look just to see how he did that. He was in traffic. I thought he was trying to maybe put it over his shoulder or something.
No, he didn't catch it. It was an accident. You're going to see here on this feed inside. So we saw Zagurnis score one. You see him sneak, and it just gets deflected. Yeah, Yelton didn't see it.
Put his stick like behind the back, but it just bounded in.
If you're Trent here, Yelton, you just go, hey, next play. That was unlucky. It happens. It's sports. You got to move on. You got to have that mental toughness to move on. So
We were just talking about Sigurnis, and when you're a player like that, sometimes things just tend to bounce for you. So it is 7-7. And a real uncharacteristic or unorthodox type of goal. Kyle White now throwing some deeks, and then they go below on their inverted attack. And they'll pass it up high for someone in position. Sigurnis against Jackson Davidson. Centers it. They can't get a shot. Ball loose on the ground, and St. X comes out with it once again. Max Bonner, he seems to always emerge with the ball when it's in his territory. And a long pass, but it got picked off. And right back to the attack. Sigurnis now with room. Shot. No, pass.
Oh, my gosh.
A tremendous save by Yelton. How did he get that? As he stopped Stuckey, I thought for sure that Sigurnis was going to go for the goal. He passed it across. It looked like a gimme. And Yelton made his best save of the night.
Are you kidding me?
That makes up for that last one that went in.
Wow.
It looked
That's
like
one of the best saves I've ever seen. I've been watching this game for a long time. The Jerome staff was fired up about something. I'm not sure what.
Another interception. That's a rather weak effort. Picked off by White. He fires it, and that one bounded well wide. Almost had too much time to walk into that one. To put maybe more power on it than he needed to. There's a centering pass and a goal. Darren Cycle puts Jerome back in front 8-7 in this seesaw game.
Yeah, and this play happens just because of an unforced turnover. I guess you could call it forced, but you see Jerome, the way they play, and
well, the pass at midfield that was picked off, that was...
You can't throw a flat pass.
Just a rather easy interception, and that ended up leading, not immediately, but the change of possession led to the goal. Now the ball is played along the ground. St. X came up with it. And a good move there by Magnus Violet. He's done a great job of going to goal after winning draws. He does it again. And a great save there by Corey Lawrence, and a flag flies.
Yeah, good save. Violet got deep there and just not able to put it away. So man up.
And St. X will get another opportunity to play with a man advantage. It looks like Xander Johnson is going off. That he was just not to be denied there. See the cross check.
Yeah, in the head.
Oh, what a
good
save,
call.
though.
Yeah.
Oh. Boy, we've had two pretty good saves in the last
Yeah,
minute
that
or
last
so.
one from Yelton, though. Man,
yeah, that was another level.
He had Sigurnis threw it to Stuckey on the backside doorstep.
And you could say he should have shot the ball, but he made a perfect play.
No,
and
that's
it looked
the look
like
you
an
want.
easy
That's
goal.
a dunk. I mean,
yeah,
10 out of 10 times, that's a goal.
Shot went wide.
Maybe I should say 99 out of 100.
Yeah, I guess, and we just saw the one.
We saw the one.
And he said he is equally adept as a playmaker as a scorer. So it's very in character for him. They pass it out in the shot, and that one missed the target on a drive by Wojciechowski.
Jerome's done a nice job rotating on this man down. Penalty's about to be released.
Here is Khalif Hocker. Pass across. Shot and another good save. Had a hard time controlling it coming down. Both goalies have really come up big. And sometimes...
Yeah, Lorenzen for Jerome. If you're Gutman, Johnny Gutman, you've shot the same shot on him multiple times, and I think he's starting to just stay and sit. You're going low to high, you're dropping your hands, you're bringing it high. And Lorenzen, he was all over that one, didn't even move. So if you're Johnny Gutman, you get some more opportunity. Wow!
And they've centered and scored just like that. It's Sigurnis again.
Yeah, from Stuckey.
So last time, they were robbed on the Sigurnis to Stuckey. They reverse it and they get the goal.
This is a full field run from Sigurnis. So he goes down to help clear. And then he runs the entire length of the field. How about this one-timer? How about those hands? That's a tough handle. Quick stick, ball hits his stick for only a split second.
That's what makes those inverted plays so tough to defend when you can execute like that, because you got to be looking behind, and then it's hard to recalibrate. And he just buried it with a quick release. But look at him fight to the crease, and then the shot over the top. That looked like more like rugby than lacrosse out there. A rolling scrum, and they almost got a shot out of it. Yeah, they sure did. That's the power of the St. X game. But they're down by 2 now.
Yeah, so here you see St. X is subbing, and Jerome's doubling the ball. I love that. Oh, did he step out?
And another one of these unforced turnovers.
Yeah, you're not playing the white lines. You're playing that red and that blue line.
Not for Gavin Dean. They play it off to the left.
All right, St. X needs to stop right now.
Stuckey, who set up that last goal so brilliantly.
I believe St. X was offsides, so it's a free play for Jerome.
And that flag is down on the near side. And they're just taking their time. Try to set something up right here. They sense maybe an opportunity to regain real control of this match. Kyle White down low. Zagurnis again, the newly crowned player of the year. Looking for a play, found it, the shot, and a big save there by Yelton on that drive by Ungarat, who scored 3 goals in the first half. Looked like he had another one in his sights there. And now
he's cramping, yeah.
Stretching out. And meanwhile, the flag was down, so that will be adjudicated here. For the
offsides, yeah. So 30-second man-up opportunity for St. X.
Technical foul. But
see what Coach Ewart draws up. The man, the myth, the legend.
They don't need 30 seconds sometimes.
Penalty on Cincinnati St. Xavier, number 14.
And they're working the ball around like it's on a string, and there it is. Ungarat, or rather Zagurnis.
From Ungarat.
And it's 10-7. Those two teaming up again. And it's interchangeable many times.
Yeah, this is Zagurnis runs all the way from up top, down, through, and then I love this. Run through the check. You got to take a good angle against him. So opportunistic. Runs through the stick check. Nothing Yelton can do.
Well, they had 30 seconds. They used about 15 of them. Just passing, just about everyone got involved in the segment, and then they just found the perfect shot utilizing the extra man. So it's now 10-7. You can't do it much better than that. Now, once again, it's going to the goal off the draw, and Violet scores to get him back in. Magnus Violet. He's just been doing it all in the face-off X and then driving to goal.
He's got to be gassed. He's made a couple of these runs, and talk about him playing box, and you see him handling pressure, keeping his stick tight, feeling that defender, and then just getting in too tight. There's nothing Lorenzen can do.
And several times he's been battered and sent to the ground, and he's still been able to follow through on his shot and score.
He's a tough kid. He's a tough kid.
10-8 with 1:40 to go in the third. And again, they come up with a draw and a chance to direct attack again. Can't get a shot off. Hocker ends up with it, as Hodgett just could not get free for a shot. Now it's put out in front, wide open, over the top there. Folke looked like he had one as he was set up perfectly by Bonner.
We had a broken stick. He was set up perfectly, had a good opportunity there. He's a defensive midfielder, so he's not used to handling the ball, and had an opportunity, just wasn't able to finish.
And every defensive midfielder dreams of such an opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt.
And the goalie, Lorenzen, lobs
Great
it
ground
out,
ball
and
from
they come
Ungarat.
up with it. Here's Ungarat, number 12. And he is really being worked over.
Yeah,
but
there it is, flag.
Continues to cradle the ball, and the flag flies as a result. It's going to be called on Stegbauer. Near side shot, and
Good
the save again.
Gonna have another penalty.
Yelton bailing his team out time and again. Another flag.
I'm not sure why they stopped the play. I thought both penalties were going to be on St. X, which should have, maybe it was an inadvertent whistle from the official, but I believe they're talking now. They're going to figure this out.
Stegbauer, it's Tyler Stegbauer.
Yeah, he got a slash on Ungarat.
Tyler Stegbauer Jr. Of course, we talked about Spencer, the freshman.
And I'll tell you what, hey, this play starts, this opportunity starts, this penalty starts with a great ground ball from Carter Ungarat. The pass from Lorenzen, one hop threw it to a guy who was covered, and Ungarat comes up with a contested ground ball.
Two players in the box for St. X. Brendan Deely joining the elder Stegbauer. And here is a real opportunity for Jerome.
Yeah, it's a big play here.
And the way they looked on their last man-up situation, you kind of are a little nervous if you're a St. X supporter right now.
You got to pack it in. You got to play tight. You got to give up the outside shot. You can't let Merrick Zagurnis shoot from 3 yards on your goalie.
Penalty, Cincinnati St. Xavier 13, Tyler Stegbauer.
Final minute, clicking off of the third quarter clock. A goal would really be a major development here in Dublin Jerome's favor. And there's Johnson shooting for it, but that one was up, and away.
Yeah, you give that shot. You're fine with that shot if you're St. X. I know Xander's got a...
That was the same shot that he took in the first half that you said he was too far out, but that time he was in perfect range.
Yeah, he's got an absolute cannon, that kid. So.
And he scored on a shot similar to that too in the first half.
Yeah, but you gotta pick your poison here when you're down 2 guys, and so something we don't see Jerome do often. They're going to hold the ball and they're going to start with the possession in the fourth quarter.
And that's exactly what they have done. St. X at least survives the end of the third without falling more goals down. Still trailing 10-8 though as we head to the fourth, coming right up. And we're getting ready for the fourth quarter. And Dublin Jerome still with that man-up advantage here. You see the 2 players for St. X, numbers 13 and 14, in the box. Stegbauer and Deely. I would think this is a rather critical time in the game right here.
This is a big series, big sequence. Obviously, you're down 2 men. You're down by 2. And you're playing against not the best shot. It's not what you wanted. That's what you wanted if you're St. X.
Yelton made another save, but certainly it was not as difficult as perhaps it might have been.
Yeah,
now
St.
they come
X
back wide open in front, and they call it.
St. X was offsides again.
Gutman scored, but they were right on top of the play.
Yeah, the coaches are pleading their case, but they definitely only had 2 guys back. Easy to see from up here in the booth.
And they came that close to getting back within a goal again, which would have been really something of being 2 men down if they'd been able to score.
I'm not sure what the discussion is here that they're having. Unless there was a player that was near the box, maybe somebody who released the penalty and stepped on and we didn't see, but.
You're going to have a conference down there with the 3 officials.
Do you think when officials meet like this, they're actually talking about it? Or you think they already had their mind made up and they're like, we'll just make the coaches happy?
I don't know. I think you'd be better guy to judge that.
Hey, what are you getting for dinner after the game?
I haven't seen the officials lose many of these arguments.
Let's just pretend like we're chatting it up so that the coaches think we're talking about something important about this call.
It definitely looks like he's just explaining to him about the decision that's already been made.
Well, it looks like St. X is putting their offensive unit on the field. Obviously, I kid about they're obviously talking about this, getting this call right. It's a good officiating crew. It's out there.
And some of the St. X players were looking a little bit distraught.
I think
the way the conversation was going.
St. X wants the goal, and my guess is reading their body language, they're not going to get the goal, but they're going to get the ball. So I'm not sure what happened, because from up here, I thought they were offsides. Like I said, maybe we missed a player that was close to the box. But either way, this is a big call.
Well, I guess you look at it, the glass half full at least.
Hey, and give these officials a ton of credit, because they're working on getting the play in this call right.
Very well executed play.
So both coaching staffs are waiting for an explanation. Okay, no goal, but it's going to be St. X ball. Yeah, so glass half full, right?
Yep.
You didn't get the goal. Maybe you weren't offsides. I still think you were, but, I've been wrong before.
Hey, if you score, then it ceases to matter as much. After they were robbed of that goal and that just spectacular save, they came right back. The same 2 guys scored, and it's history.
Anyway, you cut it, big possession.
But when you consider they were down 2 men and 2 goals, and they came out of it none the worse for wear, and now they can get within 1, that's not too bad for St. X. That ball is nearly lost, and it still might be lost. It's on the ground, but finally picked up by
These
Stegbauer.
Transfer passes have been tough for St. X in some situations tonight.
Khalif Hocker almost lost it. Somehow he at least kept it alive so his teammate could get it right out in front. Not a lot there, but it's snatched back up, and flag flies. And there's going to be a man up coming for St. X again. Hocker having trouble controlling, but he manages to maintain the possession. And there's Stegbauer with room, a shot, and it was just wide of the goal. Maybe the save was made, is picked up. Now the call will be made.
I think we're going to have a slash against the Celts. And in all seriousness, give these officials tons of credit. They came in, they got their call, they got on the same page, they came over, explained it to both the coaches, and moved on. That's all you can ask for as a coach and as a player. We got a slash now.
And they did hear him out, so.
Yeah.
And there's Will Albright going to the penalty box.
All right, so man up.
Gutman 21 for Luke Sprong. Over to the far side, trying to isolate an open man. They find him. Wojciechowski then down across the green. He couldn't get the shot and intercepted, so that's a big turnover. And a good move there by Kyle White to escape the ride and get all the way across midfield. White still in control, and they're using up valuable seconds here. Getting that turnover so early in the man-up situation.
Yeah, they're just killing this penalty.
Allows them to just, that's right, get back to even terms and deny that opportunity to play with a man-up. An offside call here. The ball's going to go over needlessly to St. X.
Yeah, Coach Asmo is hot, and I think he has a right to be. I'm not sure how they went offsides. They did the players exchange. I don't know. they just switched which pole stepped over. I'm not sure what happened there, but.
Another big chance for St. X. There's a good move. And couldn't get a shot off, but Bennett got it below the goal.
St. X is late getting there.
His pass, and it's errant and it's intercepted, but then it's knocked away, but bounds right into the possession of Gavin Dean.
Wow.
And they get it back. A great pass, 2-on-1 goal. Sigurnis makes it 11-8.
Credit Preston Stuckey of Jerome. You're going to see this pass gets deflected, and he catches it at his ankles and then spot feeds Sigurnis.
You got him right in stride, and you do not want that guy coming in on you alone if you're the goalie.
And when you have a tough handle like that, when you catch a ball at your feet, it's really hard to reorient and put a good pass on your teammate. And he was able to do that.
So St. X killed off a two-man down situation. They had two opportunities and a man up to get back within a goal, but now it's 3 goals again. Sigurnis, and he is really being all wrapped up there by Bonner, but he managed to get free for the moment, but stolen and out to midfield. Ball still on the ground, bodies flying. And some real all-out effort being made on both sides to come up with it. Jerome does. Losing his footing, though, Dean.
Timeout.
And they called a timeout to save the possession.
Yeah, good timeout. Saw Coach Bart Sullivan there give Coach Asmo a pat on the back.
Similar to you see
defensive
in basketball
coordinator
all the time.
says nice job there. We needed that one. We almost turned it over.
Well, the Celtics are all those super sophomores on St. X making one charge after another, but the senior poise and leadership seeming to come to the surface here for Dublin Jerome.
And once again, you have St. X causes a turnover, comes down, and just isn't able to handle the ball and get it from their defense to offense.
And then, of course, that offside call negating the goal. Although it looked like a good call, still it was close. And that shows just how close a game like this can be. And there's still plenty of time with 8:41 to go. But it appears that for the first time since it was 3-0, Dublin Jerome maybe has taken somewhat control of this game again.
Yeah, momentum is definitely in Jerome's favor, and just the pace of play is in Jerome's favor.
It has been a breakneck pace for most of the game.
This track meet, this up and down, they want you to play fast. And you see the mistakes that happen when you play at that speed. Whether it's going off sides, which we've seen a couple times, or just throwing the ball away or throwing it to somebody who's covered.
So they have control. And trying to put on a strong ride here now. They'll have to try to cause some turnovers. But they break it very nicely, and again, they hit the open man. The shot, it just went wide. That was Johnson. Again, hit right on the move. Man, that could have been a real dagger had he put it in.
Good opportunity, just not able to finish.
Johnson again fighting off the defender and fires the shot wide. But they back up the play. And they can take a good deal of time off the clock here.
They're not going to, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, and if they can generate a good shot.
They're going to the rack. It's who they are.
Good dodge there by Kyle White. Yeah, indeed they do.
Good save.
And he tried to go low-high, but stopped by Yelton. He's probably been the player of the game for St. X. Keeping them in there. There's a pass over to Gutman. And he'll hold on. St. X, a team that is maybe a little bit more apt to be patient on the attack.
Well, run your stuff. Get your personnel on. Get in your sets. You're only down 3. You got 7 minutes. You know that Jerome's not slowing it down, so you don't have to worry about them eating too much clock.
Here is Bennett. Some good moves and off to Gutman. White watching him, working from X. Has an open player, but he couldn't get a shot away. Wojciechowski pulls back with it. Isolated one-on-one, picks up a screen, dishes it off. Bennett fires, and that one was well wide, but they will maintain possession as Dealey was in position.
I've seen a lot of these kids pulling their shots. I'm not sure if with that weather delay.
Tonight.
I'm not sure if their sticks got wet, bagged out a little bit.
Yeah, have seen that on more than one occasion. There is Khalif Hocker. They've done a good defensive job on him again. The 80-goal scorer and top prospect. Pass out for Bennett. Lays it off. Try to get the shot, and it is ripped wide.
Good opportunity for Stegbauer. Yeah, I like that. He got to the middle. Good shot. Just not able to put it on.
6.5 minutes to go. They were trailing Upper Arlington practically the whole game, and they persevered and pulled it out. They got ahead, then they fell behind again. They still won, so they're not going to give it up in any way, shape, or form here as they search for a goal that could get them back within 2. Bennett swings it back to Hocker. He's got all kinds of moves. Fires it left-handed, and look at those players diving for position. They're really...
St. X is lucky. They got to make sure they back that up.
They're really giving it everything they got, but that was too close for comfort as far as St. X is concerned. Man, there's a good check, knocking him off the ball and causing a turnover.
Quick double team.
Then getting tripped up inadvertently, or maybe tripping over himself, but he still managed to get the ball away. And now they go on the attack, but they stop ball there. So Gurnis is right there to pick it up, though. 5.5 minutes to go.
All right, I just saw the Jerome coaching staff put their hands up, which looked like a slow down motion, which I don't think they've ever done before.
There it is. There's a first time for everything.
We'll see if their players listen. They're probably like, what are you guys doing over there? We've never seen that call before. Hands up. What does that mean?
But with only 5:10 to go and a 3-goal lead, maybe it makes some sense at this point.
Most teams would milk here, but eat some clock, limit the number of possessions, but St. X starting to push out here.
Sestelli playing it back. St. X is going to have to maybe double the ball and put some pressure on, try to force a turnover. They can't afford to let too much time drain off the clock. And I'll tell you, for a team that never does it, they're doing a pretty good job of it, but there they lose it. It's on the ground, but they get it back. So Gurnis again comes up with a big play. And
yeah, nice to have number 11 on your team. You guys make a mistake and you pick up the ground. He's a great rider, and he's great off the ground. Him, the whole attack line of Stuckey, Ungarat, and Zagurnis are so good off the ground.
How often do you see a guy who's that great offensively that has all those other qualities? Here's a shot and a goal by Sestelli. That makes it 12-8 for Jerome. And after they almost lost it, they picked up a couple of key ground balls, and Sestelli, he's just tough to stop.
He's a big body. He likes contact.
You got to feel that the Ohio Bobcats are going to like him on the gridiron.
Yeah, he's a great kid, great family. Got to work on his celebrations.
I suppose that's a relatively minor flaw.
I'm sure the kids like it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he can work on that. Here they come back. Magnus Violet has just played an outstanding game at the face-off position, and they draw a flag, and they have to convert now.
Yeah, this is it. This is the game right here. They got to find a way to put one in the back of the net.
And the one thing is that Violet's been very effective in the draws, and as long as you have that, then you still have hope, because you score a goal, you win another draw, you get another goal. You're never quite out of it, but they have to start by scoring here. Violet has played now, I think, 3 guys that really stand out. The goalkeeper, Yelton, Violet off the face-offs, and Bonner defensively have stood out for St. X. So now They're a man down. That pass right in front had a lot on it, though, and it was tough to control. Intercepted. That's the second time they've got a man up, but turned the ball over early in the possession. And now it's White back. He winds up for a shot, and that one rings off the post and rebounds all the way to midfield. Did you have something on that or not?
I mean, I just got to laugh because there's 3.5 minutes left in the state championship game. You're up by 4. You're a man down. And you run down and you shoot it 5 seconds, not even 3 seconds after crossing midfield.
After they had just decided they were going to hold the ball for a while, it goes out of bounds. And I guess there's a certain thing for saying if you've got a certain style and you go away from it, maybe more harm than good can come out of that, even if you do have the lead. How many times have teams lost in football because they went to a prevent defense?
That's right. There's no prevent.
Now moving in, shot by Bennett, scores. There it is, 12-9.
All right.
Had he scored a goal on that play, it would have been game over, and he almost did. He hit the post, but now it's still out there a little bit with 2:57 to go. And back comes Violet to the face-off X against Sestelli. That'll be a great matchup. Here's a look at the goal.
Yeah, just gets to the middle. Scored one similar to that in the first half. Just get to a good spot. Doesn't have to be a great shot.
Shifted to the left for the better angle. They don't do that in ice hockey. And now they win the draw again.
Timeout.
And a timeout. And they don't have much of a heartbeat, but they still got one with 2:50 to go. And if they score here, their pulse will be stronger yet. So take us into the huddles here. Offense and defense, what do you think is maybe being mapped out right now on the St. X side?
Yeah, so if you're St. X, I'm interested to see, because there's 2 ways that you can do this. I guess there's 1,000 ways you can do this, but where my mind goes is, do you start the ball with Khalif and work off of him and draw something out, or do you start him off ball and knowing that he's going to be honed in on defense? So do you use him as a decoy, or do you let him initiate and try and find somebody else, knowing that you're going to slide and you're going to get help early? If you're Jerome, you're thinking, hey, just play your base defense, get a stop, and clear the ball. On the other side, for St. X, the message to the team is, guys, you have to be on your attackman's hip. You cannot, if that ball comes, we are in whatever their press out call is, lock off call, you got to be in it immediately if you don't score right here. Even if you do score and you come down, anytime that ball crosses midfield now, if you're the St. X defense, you're pushing out, you're trying to cause a turnover, you're trying to get an extra possession for your team. All right, so they're going to start the ball with DJ Wojciechowski and start Khalif inside with Gutman.
And whatever they do, they've got to make it work here. This is Bennett, preferably without taking too much time off the clock. There's an errant pass, though, on the ground. If Dublin Jerome can come up with it, they would maybe possibly be able to really escape this situation and over the line.
Yeah.
And that's going to give the ball to Dublin Jerome. So they are able to once again hold off St. X on the man up. And now they're down to 2:15 to go and a 3-goal lead.
Gavin Dean with the ball now.
He's
done everything for Jerome. Wings, offense, defense.
He's a one-man clock killer right now.
He looks fresh right now.
He's just having a good time cavorting all over the field. Nobody can catch him.
Yeah.
And he's still got it.
Man, to be young again, huh?
Exactly. He's been
now
probably ran a mile there.
Yeah.
Now Zagurnis has it, and he knows what to do with it. Look at him get to the front, and he tried to finish it off right there.
He's trying to add to his record.
Yeah, but it didn't find the back of the goal, but he got it back again. Ungerad also had a chance, but they call timeout with 1 minute and 31 seconds to go, and Dublin Jerome sensing victory right now. Both fans and players, but it's not time to celebrate yet.
Yeah, if you're St. X, a timeout actually helps you because you have, I think it was Gus Folke who's hurt. So you're going to get your correct personnel on, your best defensive 6, and you're going to double the ball, pull your goalie. Trent's going to have to lock somebody off. You got to double the ball, try and cause a turnover.
Efficiently as possible through the east side gates. Fans, when you're exiting today,
and St. X, obviously, they can't afford to sit back now. They have got to somehow bring about a turnover, a change of possession, and score as quickly as they can. Well, that appears to be possibly easier said than done.
Might not be doubling the ball. Yeah, if you're Jerome, you give it to your best athlete, and I love this. This is where I definitely always put a pole on the field. So Jerome's got their pole out there, what they always do, but won't allow any transition to come back the other way.
And they are not doubling the ball.
So now they're doubling.
Oh, the net was open for a moment. White and 2 guys working him over. Somehow he whirled away from them. A good slide there, keeping him from getting to goal by Arthur, but he's still killing time beautifully as he was before. Pass out in front. They've killed off
a
half
over a minute.
And we have 1 minute to go and counting. Still a 3-goal lead, and Jerome finally relinquishes the ball, but it's very late in the game as they've still got to move all the way upfield and score almost immediately if they're going to maintain any chance. 1-on-3, the ball is knocked away. A whistle, they call the timeout just before the ball was knocked loose. 42 seconds. It was a very good run. Got the goal, he took that all the way.
I mean, everybody else is gassed.
Yeah.
Best clearing option.
He was maybe intent on scoring a goal there.
All right, so if you're St. X, obviously you got to try and get a goal here in, 5 to 6 seconds, and then hope that you can win 2 face-offs.
And there would be time to do that if you can be completely efficient.
Yeah, you got to have a lot of things go your way. Everything has to go your way at this point. And if you're Jerome, that high-pressure defense that you run, I absolutely love that. Here in this scenario where you know St. X is drawing up a play, you're going to push out. You're not going to let them get into whatever's been drawn up. We saw that on the last timeout that they had.
All they really have to do is if they just make them take a little longer to score, then they're just not going to have enough time. So if they can utilize their muscle, utilize their positioning to just make them take a little bit more circuitous route to the goal, that can make all the difference. And there they go. This is Hocker, and he scores his 2nd goal of the game. They knew, I guess they figured he can start the play and make the play. So
there was nothing crazy about that. Give it to your best player. Set 1 pick for him.
There comes the pick, you see it.
Short stick, and let him just run. I'm surprised Jerome didn't send somebody earlier. You see the range he has.
Well, that's step 1. Now they got to win this draw, and for Sestelli, if he can just make it tougher for him to win the draw and harder to get into the attack. And he certainly is more than capable of doing that or just winning the draw. It's loose, but Violet comes up with it. Here we go. 26 seconds left. He just threw a hopeful pass across field knowing that he was being funneled off to the right.
Yeah, it's not terrible, honestly. It's a high risk, but that's where you are.
That he had no other choice because he couldn't go right to goal. They forced him wide, and that was going to take too long to surmount all those defenders. So he saw a player out of his peripheral vision, but he just couldn't quite get it there. 10 seconds, and Dublin Jerome is going to win.
Yeah, how fitting that Merrick Zagurnis had the ball last for Jerome.
They lost a heartbreaker last year to Upper Arlington. They won it in 21. They have won it again this year. And as you said, very fitting that Mark Sigurnis, the Player of the Year and all-time scoring leader in Ohio history, who made several plays that you would expect a guy like that to make, to pull your team through, and now it's no longer premature to celebrate.
Yeah, no, enjoy it, young men. Such a big accomplishment to win a state championship.
And for a senior-laden team that had so much experience in a state championship setting, there were a couple of times in the game after they got off to an early 3-0 lead, they looked like they might even break away the way they did in the state semi, but St. Xavier got 5 straight goals and put a lot of pressure on them. But every time when someone had to make a play at a key time, someone did it for Dublin Jerome.
Yeah, and hats off to St. X. They played a great game. I think that just the senior leadership of Jerome really started to show there in the second half, and the pace of play and that style. I think St. X played a great game. Hats off to them, and could have gone either way, but a great game, and congrats to Dublin Jerome for a great season. Coach Asmo and the rest of his staff, Coach Ewert, Coach Sullivan, and then Coach Sprong did a great job with his very young team, as we talked about.
Well, they're certainly going to be a threat in the next couple of years. They can't do anything, one would think, but improve. They're obviously disappointed. They felt like they had a team, youthful or not, that had the capacity to win it. And really, maybe if they had cleaned things up on a couple of occasions, didn't make a couple of key mistakes, it would have been a different result. But that's
the way it
part
goes.
of the gaining of experience.
Yeah, I think if you look at some of the unforced errors that were made, that are little things, not connecting on a transfer pass, setting up your offense, the offsides, a couple offsides they had, take away a few of those things. But Jerome had mistakes too, but it's just sports, and it's part of the game. And this is a great game, 12-10 state championship. Hold your head up high, young men. You guys did a great job. You guys competed. You won 2 close games to get here. You played a close game against one of the best teams in the state that's been bulldozing everybody.
Yeah. They won their state semifinal game 16-7, settled it early with a 16-3 run. It looked like they might even be on the way to doing that again. But St. X said no to that, and they almost pulled it off. But look at that. There's joy reigns supreme down there, and there's Sigurnis, the real team leader.
Please exit the field.
And as you said, they have earned this moment, even though it took a little longer to get here today than was originally planned.
Yeah, good for these kids.
None of these guys know each other very, very well. St. X, when they had their game against Upper Arlington, another Columbus area team, they'd indicated that they were friends and gone back years. I'm sure the same holds true with this team, and you can see the mutual respect out there.
Yeah, a lot of these kids know each other, competed against each other for years. And a great game, could have gone either way. Kids battled, kids battled. At the end of the day, you got one winner. Only one team ends their season on a win every year. This year it's Dublin Jerome.
They knew that probably above all that nobody was going to give an inch. Even when St. X was really looked like their backs were to the wall in the fourth quarter, they kept on bobbing back to the surface and almost got within a goal again. And Dublin Jerome, though, just too experienced a team to allow that to happen. And they end up winning their second state title in 3 years. You see the expressions of the spent faces on the players. We're going to be seeing the awards ceremony. And, of course, the final celebration by Dublin Jerome. But you've coached a lot of these players. You know them very well just from that. And I guess just knowing the character of the players, you pretty well knew the kind of game it was going to be before it even started.
Yeah, every goal was earned. There was, at the end of the day, when you're a coach, all you do is you ask your kids to play their best game, play their hearts out, to compete every single play. And both of these teams did. And so, I know these coaches are both very proud of the way that their players performed and played. And like I said, only one team ends their season on a win.
Well, you'd said before about the unique style of play of Dublin Jerome. 2 state championships in 3 years and came so close to making it 3 in a row. How long before maybe some other teams are going to take a look at their methods?
Honestly, I think of like the Texas high school football where you see, the coach that breaks the mold of what's traditional thought and, goes for 2 every time and never punts on 4th down and always goes for an onside kick. And it's pretty much what Coach Asmo and Jerome have done, and it's been a recipe for success. And so who knows? Maybe I have not seen another team that has implemented that strategy and has adopted it, especially to the degree that Jerome has. But maybe we'll see that.
Yeah,
they might be in the future of lacrosse.
Success
it's
generally
working.
Breeds copying, and it might be the kind of personnel that they have, and there might be certain.
It definitely helps when you got.
Would work for.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you've got Merrick Sigurnis, Carter Ungeroth, and Preston Stuckey on your attack line. You've got the athletes like Sestelli in the midfield. And then you got a goalie that can make saves. Lorenzen played great. He made saves, made the ones he was supposed to.
Yeah, we talked all game about Trent Yelton and one of the best saves probably ever seen in the annals of high school lacrosse on a 2-on-1, but Lorenzen maybe was overshadowed a little, but he was there when he had to be all game long too. Let's toss to the PA and the post-game ceremonies.
An exciting championship game. It's now my pleasure to present you the State Lacrosse Awards. First, we'll recognize the Division I state runner-up team, the St. Xavier High School Bombers. When your name is called, please come forward to receive your individual medallion. Number 1, Trent Yelton. Number 2, Gus Folke. Number 3, Luke Sprong. Number 4, Magnus Violet. Number 5, Jackson Davidson. Number 6, Khalif Hawker. 7, Max Bonner. Number 8, Alex Sharma. Number 9, Rowdy Shear. 10, Patrick Crowley. Number 11, Brady Bennett. Number 12, Spencer Stegbauer. Number 13, Tyler Stegbauer. Number 14, Brendan Deely. Number 15, Andrew Orther. 16, Sam Hawkins. Number 17, Brian O'Connor. 18, Owen Hodgett. 19, Hayden Shamsi. Number 20, George Barziza. 21, Johnny Gutman. 22, Daniel Volmer. Number 23, DJ Wojciechowski. 24, Leighton Kidd. 25, Michael Rouse. 26, Leo Tombragel. 27, Jack McMurray. 28, Andrew Coburn. 29, Jimmy Brown. Number 30, Evan Miller. 31, Zach Vetter. 32, Sean Deely. 33, Sam Bamiller. 34, Aiden Miller. 36, Carter Grubb. 38, Colin Farragon. And number 40, Ben Lehman. The head coach of St. Xavier's, Nate Sprong, assisted this year by Andrew Westerbeck, John Plasky, and Andrew Green. And now presenting the Division I state runner-up trophy is OSHA Sports Administrator Kate Barnett. Would head coach Nate Sprong and the Bombers seniors and captains please come forward to receive your trophy. Congratulations to Cincinnati St. Xavier on an outstanding season. Now we'll recognize the 2023 OSHA Division I State Championship team, the Dublin Jerome High School Celtics. When your name is called, please come forward to receive your individual medallion, starting with number 1, Corey Lorenzen. Number 2, Kyle White. Number 3, Cale Hawk. 4, Brady Sestilli. Number 5, Russ Marr. Number 6, Dane Linsky. Number 7, Ryan Solz. Number 8, Mason Rice. 9, Luke McLaughlin. Number 10, Preston Stuckey. Number 11, Merrick Zagurnis. Number 12, Carter Ungerot. Number 13, D'Angelo Nardone. Number 14, Jake Ganjizada. Number 15, Reese Klein. Number 16, Charlie Culp. 17, CJ Infante. Number 18, Weston Korb. 20, Kellen Deach. 21, Aiden Weldy. Number 22, Gavin Dean. 24, Darren Cycle. 25, Will Albright. 27, Ben Ackert. 28, Xander Johnson. 29, Derek Hull. 30, Caden Matney. 31, Jackson Bates. 32, Joey Slates. 33, Seth Siddell. Number 34, Michael Smith. 35, Max Michaels. 36, Davis Pizer. 39, Marshall Webb. 40, Ethan Fett. Ty Sue. Parker Middleton. Austin Butcher. And Ty Ungerot. The head coach is Andy Asmo, assisted by John Ewart, Bart Sullivan, Landon Del Prince, Ben Hauser, Jared Sims, Zach LaRue, and Sean Ewert. And now would head coach Andy Asmo and the Celtics come forward to receive the trophy. And congratulations to Dublin Jerome and the Celtics on a great season and a state championship. On behalf of the staff at Historic Crew Stadium and OSHA, thank you for attending tonight's event. As a reminder, once you exit the stadium, please do so through the east side. Parents and fans wishing to meet up with players, go to gates 3 and 4. Thank you for your attention and cooperation.
Celtics taking their team picture. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have coach, the winning coach, Andy Asmo, talking to Greg Bice. And we're back here, and we often talk to the head coach, but when you've got the player of the year in the state of Ohio, why not talk to him? As Mark Zagorny is down with Greg Bice, and let's go down to the field.
I did a mustache for you.
I love it.
Ready? Greg Bice alongside, are we good? Yeah. Greg Bice alongside Merrick Zagornis, Ohio's all-time leading point scorer and 2023 state champion. How does that feel, Merrick?
Amazing. Best feeling in the world.
What was it like to play against St. X? Obviously a tough game. Just kind of talk us through what it was like playing in this game. It's obviously your third time here in as many years, but coming out on top.
Especially with last year, best feeling. Every day since last year, ever since that loss, we talked about this every day. Right after the loss, we said we're not losing this year. And in the locker room before the game, you could tell everyone was on a mission. It's just amazing.
What's it like? Your attack line, I thought, was the best in the state alongside Carter and Preston. What is it like? You played with those guys since you've been little, you know, to end your career at Dublin. What does it mean to play alongside guys like that?
It's amazing. Those are two of my best friends. We've just built so much chemistry over the years. I can't put into words what it's like winning with them. It's insane.
And then final question before I let you go celebrate with your teammates once again. Walking away, Ohio's all-time leading point scorer. You did it in just 3 years. You're obviously an unbelievable player. What does that mean to you, in addition to having 2 state championships, just being able to hold that record with all of the great players that have come through Ohio high school lacrosse before you? What does that mean to you?
I think it really just shows our team the past 3 years how good we've been. I've had players besides me that I passed them the ball, they put the ball in the back of the net. They made it really easy for me. I don't think it's just my record, it's Jerome's record. So it feels amazing to give that to my school.
Well said, Merrick. You're a great young man. Hey, enjoy it, man. Go celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, take care.
Yes, sir.
And there it is. Mark Sigornis heading to Denver, and he'll have a state championship under his belt to do it. Dublin Jerome wins the only loss all year to Detroit Power Brother Rice, 12-9, but they finished the year 21-1 with the state championship in tow. A great game, and congratulations to both teams. St. X gave them a real battle, but Dublin Jerome Celtics win it, and they are the 2023 Boys Division I State Championship. Thanks for being with us. For our entire crew and Greg Bice, Greg Franke saying so long, everyone, from historic Crew Stadium.